Hi everyone, this is Christy with Paper Hoarder Disorder, and I have a little project share and tutorial that I want to share with you guys. And it's this little easel card with drawer that's been out for yeah, at least 4 years that I could find. Over the past couple of years, there have been people who have been adding chipboard to it to make them a lot more solid and not so crushable, if you will. And the ones that I found were kind of difficult for beginners to do, or just kind of difficult in general, a little too time consuming. And so I tried to put my own spin on it and tried to simplify the process, and I just wanted to share that with you. So on this one right here, on my sample here, this is using Stationer's Desk by Prima, which is a line that came out this year, and you can see it lies flat. So this is mailable, giftable, and all of that. I didn't put anything on the back. I just put black cardstock. So on here, this one doesn't have its sentiment put on there because I don't know exactly what I want it to say. These are things that you could do ahead of time and just have them ready so that when the occasion arises, that you can go ahead and stamp a simple sentiment that is appropriate for the occasion. And they're just ready to go. So these are kind of staple things that you can keep around just like you would regular cards. One of the benefits is that this will hold a gift card. Let me go ahead and show you. You can fit a gift card in here very easily. You can put candies in here for Halloween. You can put little peppermints in here for Christmas. You can put a small gift in here. And what's nice about it is that it's still usable for the person after, the gift has already been received, that they may still be able to store jewelry and whatnot's in there. And so I added one of the little Tim Holtz pulls right here. Just to give a little pull on here. And I went ahead and lined the box on the inside here. And so I'll just give you a quick look. So I lined the inside and the outside is completely wrapped as well. And I will show you how I went about doing this. This is my simplified version, or at least simplified for me. I hope it works for you. And so let's go ahead, and I've already got my pieces pre-cut. So oh, you know what? Let me use this board because a little less contrast. Oop. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a piece that is 4" by 10.5". And we're going to turn it, and we are going to score at 1, 5, 6, and 10. So we've got 4 inches here by 10.5, and we're going to score at 1, 5, 6, and 10. Put that one aside, and then we have another piece, and this is 4 inches by 8 inches. On the 8-inch width, we're going to score at 2 and 4. Okay, and our third piece is cut to 5 7/8 inch squared. So 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. And what we're going to do is we're going to score in 1 inch from this edge. So we're going to score at 4 7/8 on all 4 sides. We're just going to keep on turning it clockwise until we've scored at 4 7/8 on all 4 sides. So this is what we have. Okay, so once we have that, we've done our scoring. Now we need to do our chipboard pieces. Now, the chipboard pieces tend to be a little off because it's easier to cut these. The scoreboard only works on the 1/8 of an inch. And with chipboard, you can cut it to any size needed. And so I went ahead and made the simple pieces on the cardstock itself. For the chipboard, we used to have one piece that is 4 by 4. We have one piece that is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then here's where it gets a little bit tricky. Okay, these little pieces here that go on the sides on the inner drawer, these are all 4 of these pieces. You see I have north, south, east, and west. on our north and south. Okay, all four of these are 15/16 thick. They are not quite an inch. If I put it up here on the inch, you will see that there is a gap there, or maybe not, but there is a 16th inch gap here, so these are not quite an inch wide. So what we're going to do here is, or tall rather, so on these, on the north and south, these are going to be 3 and 13/16. Now, I know 13/16 is very difficult for some people to kind of wrap their brain around. So what you can do is you can cut your pieces, your little strips. You can put your chipboard on the table, and you can use your metal edge, if I can find my metal edge ruler, and you can use your metal edge ruler, and you can find it at 15/16 and cut your strips. Just like that, with your craft knife or your rotary trimmer. And then once you have these, then you can just hold them up as needed and kind of trim them with your Timmy scissors, because these will cut through chipboard. You can also use lightweight chipboard for this, and if lightweight chipboard is not thick enough for you, then you can double it up. You can cut 2 pieces and then glue them together. Or there's a third option too. I'm going to go ahead and offer up, just as a convenience thing for you guys, some of these chipboard pieces and cardstock pieces, pre-cut, pre-scored, for you in my shop. If you need them. If you want to push that easy button, those will be available for you. You know, for not much either. Just because I want to make it available for people to play that don't have access to chipboard, or just don't feel like they want to mess with all this cutting. So anywho, if you don't want to measure this out too, this is 15/16 by 3 and 13/16, and then you need 2 that are 3 and 13/16 and 2 that are 3 3/4. So let me go ahead and write that on there. Let's see, let me find the pen that actually shows up. So the north and the south are 3 and 13/16-ish, you know, or you can just hold it up to, once we create the base, you can hold it up there and just trim it to fit. You can just shave off little bits at a time. And then our east and our west are 3 and 3/4, which is a nice even number. Okay. And so we've got those. Oops, the top just will not go on there. Okay, so these are our 6 pieces we need out of our chipboard. So let's come back to this. So what we're going to do on this one is, you can see on here our score lines. We're going to cut away on the left, to the right of that score line, and to the left of that score line. So basically, we're cutting away about a 1/16 of an inch. If I can show you here, you see what's missing? Just the score line. So you want to cut that away on the right and then on the left here. And we want to do this on parallel sides. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to rotate it a full 180. So you got these 2 over here. We're going to do these 2 over here. So we're going to trim on either side and on either side. All right. So now what we're going to do is, we always want to fold away from our score line. And so I like to put the smaller piece on the table. It gives you a straighter score, less wiggle room. And so I'm going to fold, well, I'm going to have my mountain sides up, which is the bump. I'm going to fold up and over, crease it. And I'm going to do that on all 4 sides. And this is okay to just get a finger crease. You don't need a crisp edge with a bone folder. This will do you just fine. And you'll notice I haven't even cut off those little tabs. All I'm going to do is I'm going to just push them to the back. I'm just going to push them out of my way. So what we've done here is we've created some little tabs. And you can see the base of our little box here. our little drawer. And so what we're going to do is, of course, you know, I am a strong believer in glue, but you may use whatever you find comfortable. And so we're going to get that little piece out of the way. And we're just going to line up this corner and make it nice and pretty. And so you can see here, I'm just lining up that corner. And give a little pressure. You can always turn it and give pressure and let the table do the work for you and just push down. And I'm going to do the other corners. Oh, got a little glue out there. No worries. Seal that up well. Again, these little pieces are sticking off here. We're going to trim them off at the end. Now you could probably do 2 corners at a time, but for your first one I would probably suggest not, just to avoid any kind of confusion. And you can see I'm just lining those up. And our last one here. Okay, so now it's time to trim off our little pieces here. And I tend to do this after, because it saves me from cutting away too little or too much. If you cut away too little, you just end up coming back again and trimming off more. And if you cut off too much, then you end up with a little bit of a hole in the corner. So this is how I do it, but you may do it however works best for you. So there's our little box, and I want to make sure that it looks like a drawer, and it's a little square. I want to make sure those sides are coming in at a straight 90-degree angle, if possible. Get rid of our scraps. All right, so now what we do is we're going to take our drawer, our piece that is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Oh, I'm sorry. Scratch that. We're going to take either our north or our south, and what we're going to do is we're always going to dry fit it in there. Okay, and let me go ahead and make sure on this one that's right. That is correct. Let me make sure on these. So we've got our east and our west. Okay, so you can figure out which one fits best. Okay, so our east and west fit best this way, and you always want to dry fit these. Okay, so I'm going to do these first because these are the tightest fit. So I'm going to, am I off camera? I'm just going to add some glue here. And I tend to put the rough cut down. And make sure all this fits in there just fine. Yes. Okay, so those go in there. So I'm doing my east and my west because those fit the tightest. It depends on which way you orient the box as to which ones you do first. The only purpose of doing the east, west, north, south doesn't mean that they actually have to be in that. You just know that east and west are across from each other, and north and south, that they're the same size. Okay. And you'll notice on here that these come short of the top. You do not want this chipboard to come above the lip of this drawer. You want it to go no higher than even and preferably below. Okay, so let me go ahead and dry fit this one again. Okay, it goes all the way down. That works perfect. Add our glue. So our north and our south were our longer pieces, and our east and west were our shorter. But it doesn't really matter as long as you have your opposite directions the same size width, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. And I find that labeling them north, south, east, west helps. remind you of what goes where, to not get sideways because they're so very close in size. Okay, so we've got that right there, and now we're just going to go ahead and we're going to dry fit our base in there, and it looks like it fits it just a smidge tight. So I'm going to use my little tool and dig him out of there. I'm going to try him this other direction, and let's see there, and that is a pretty good fit. That's a nice tight fit. So I'm going to go this way. Again, you know, these are all custom fits, so sometimes you have to shave just a little bit off here or turn it around just a little bit there. So we're going to get that in there nice and tight. And we're going to, basically we built a drawer, and we're going to line it with, rather than lining it with pattern paper, we're lining it with chipboard to reinforce that structure. Okay, so there we have a chipboard. Oops, I just got glue on the bottom of that. Yikes, don't do that. Okay, so now we have a chipboard drawer. So it's nice and solid on 5 sides. So now let's go ahead and take our 4" by 10.5" piece, and again we're going to put the mountain sides up. You can feel the bump. It's hard to see the right score on black often, so I always tell my students, feel for the mountains, put your fingers on the mountains and fold up and over. Feel for your mountains, up and over, mountains up, and mountains up. So on all 4 of those. Now what we're going to do is we are going to, okay, let's see here. Where are you? There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do here is, let me open this up. You see where this 1/2" tab is right here? We want to apply our glue to this 1/2" tab, and when we glue it down, we're just going to lay it completely over top, making sure it's square top and bottom. So let's go ahead. Got my tools in the way. So I'm going to add my glue rather sloppily. And I'm just going to go ahead and seal that down. Good pressure. The heat of your hand helps to cure that glue. And then when we open it up, there we go. We have our base. Okay, so let's go ahead and test which way our box, again, the same thing with the box, you know, you got to find out which way fits best. And then you go with that one. And I think I like this one best, right there. And what we're going to do, so that one works well that way. We're going to take our next piece, which is our 4" by 8". Again, we're going to do mountain sides up and fold on our mountain sides up. And then, you see how this is shaped like this? This is how it's going to actually go down. So when our chipboard piece is glued only to half of this, so that when it lays down, everything goes flat again. So this is the way you want it to be glued down. You want to glue down the whole 4" piece, one of the 4 by 4" places right there. The 4 by 4" portion, should I say. So we're going to add our glue. We can flatten this out, and you'll see on here we have the 4 by 4 on the top, but I'm going to lay it nice and flat because it's easier to glue. And I'm going to square it up on the 4 by 4 part, not this 1" part. Good pressure, especially in the corners. Do it from both sides. And here we go. So that's what we have right there. So we've reinforced this top, and we've created something to glue our chipboard top onto. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add glue to this bottom 2 by 4 inches. I'm sorry, 4 by 2 inches. And we're going to take our chipboard 4 by 4 piece, and we are going to square that up with the top and with the entire structure itself, or the entire base piece. We want it squared. So again, nice pressure on that. And we're going to go ahead and double check it. And you can fold that over and reinforce finger crease on that seam. So here's what we have. So we've built our base. Now we found that our drawer went in best in this direction right here. And so far you've got your basic one built. And so how quick was that? So let's go ahead and try to decorate one a little bit. I have this little gal right here, and I think we're going to go ahead and go with some inks, maybe some peacock feathers, I think. Let's go and ink her up. Cute little paper. I have some extra of this, and I might go ahead and offer this up on my Etsy store if I can get around to getting it up there. So if you guys are interested in it, let me know, and I will throw it up there. But you can use any paper you have. Especially, you know, Christmas ones would be wonderful, but we always need birthday ones, something similar like this. So let's go ahead and, of course, we're going to dry fit that on there, and that looks good. So let's go ahead and add our glue. She's just such a cute little fairy, I had to use her. So I'm just going to glue this straight onto the chipboard panel. And this is, in my opinion, this is the quick way. This is the easy way to make a chipboard easel card with drawer. So there is that. And that paper was just cut to 4x4. Now this page was cut to, this portion right here was cut to, it's about a 16-inch less than a 4x4. So, you know, just a hair less than 4x4. Again, you want to go ahead and just dry fit it up there. You want to make sure it's not hanging over the edges. You don't have to be real precise with your measurements as long as you're, as long as it looks good on your project for something like this. It's all a custom fit. And so again, I don't know, the color seems a little off on these. Let me see if I can fix that. Maybe a smidge more. Oh, that's pretty green. Sorry. Well, that's maybe a little bit better. This is a teal. If you can't tell, it's kind of hard to tell on this one. Okay, so dry fit. Add your glue. And let's see, you know what? I think I'm going to do it this way. I think I want the wood grain going this way. That looks good to me. All right. And I'm going to, I've got a couple pieces here that are, let's see here. Let me get my little pieces here. This is not the right piece. Let me see. Let me get, I think I might be missing a piece somewhere. Let me go ahead and dry fit these and make sure that that works for this. Okay, let's go ahead and just slide this drawer front out. Now we don't need to add pattern paper to the sides of the drawer. It takes up a little more room. So you really only need to add it to the front and maybe the back. And so we're going to add that. Ink that up, get rid of that white core. Okey-dokey. And again, these are just less than an inch. You just don't want them hanging over the sides. They're just less than an inch tall. And this is about 3 3/4 inch wide. And so that can go back in there. Okay, so we've got, these are going to go right about there, on there. Okay, and this one is a smidge short, so I will be right back. Okay, let's see if we got that one. See, this one is this one's good. That's a good one. Go ahead and glue those on. And here we go. And these are really fun to make. They're quick. It's a really wonderful way to use up your scraps as well. This one might be a smidge long, and it is. But I would rather have it a little long and trim. And see, this is what I mean by you don't have to get so precise about the measurements. All you have to do is do a little bit of trimming, and you're just fine. You know what? We're going to need one back here as well. Let me take this one out. How's this work? He needs to be just a smidge shorter than that. Okay, let's see. There we go. It's always good to measure it off before you start inking, because then you're just gonna, if you trim, you're just gonna have to ink that edge that you trimmed. It doesn't save you a whole lot of time, but it does save you some time. All right, so there's our front and back. Let me go ahead and get that back in there because it gives our box structure with that in there. And we've got one more side, and this one needs just a hair. And you can you can go through these really quickly. If you're making a lot of them, you don't have to be that exact. It's whatever is comfortable for you. All right. So let's get our last one on here. Okay, so basically here's what we have. We have our little fairy here, our script, and look how cute that is. So she goes on all four sides with that teal. Now we're going to go ahead and line the box. And I have some pieces cut out. We may or may not need to trim. Again, these are always a custom fit kind of thing, so, and that fits in there just fine. I think I am going to go ahead and ink these up just a little bit. I like the inky edge, the contrasting inky edge on these, so. All right, so there's that one. And if there's a cool little tool by Basic Gray, and I think Vicki just got these in over at FlossieScrapper.com, but I love these for these little boxes. Look at how quick they get in there, into those little corners. I always ruin my nails trying to burnish these into the corners, so that's really helpful. Okay, so I'm going to ink these up. And that one was less than 3/4 by 3/4, and this one is about 3 3/4 by less than an inch thick. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue these in. And then we're going to go ahead and ink up these other pieces. So this is an absolutely real-time video on getting this little project done. So, but it's really, really quick. Although I did have a little bit of a head start on the cutting. You can go assembly style on these very, very easily though. Okay, so we're going to add our glue. And so basically we're just decorating our liner that we put in there. Get in there, use our little tool. And dry fit this one. Probably better to dry fit them in there before I ink them up so that I could avoid, whoop, get on in there. There we go. Perfect. So that I can avoid have to trim and re-ink. Okey-dokey. All right. So there is the inside of our box, fully lined, and it's all stiff. And what's neat about this is this will still lay flat if you wanted to, but it's hard on the top. So this is still kind of flimsy by itself, but once you put the drawer in there, now that the drawer is lined with chipboard, once you put that in there, it's a nice fit. And now it has, because the drawer is chipboard on 5 sides. Ooh, what's catching you? Something is catching you. Let's see, I think maybe we need to go the other way. I think that's it. Okay. So, like I said, it's custom fit all the way around. The drawer itself is hard chipboard on 5 sides, and then you add the addition of this top piece, and it is solid on all 6 sides now. So it is not crushable, or well, not easily crushable, should I say. So I went ahead and I stamped a little, a big birthday wish for you. And in order to hold this up, I'm going to go ahead and use some pop dots. And I'm going to pop this up. Let's see, I've got some pieces right here. Got some pieces right here that I'm just going to go ahead and stick on there. And all I did was stamp this on just plain old white paper. The stamping paper from Ranger works a lot better, but I don't have any. And I'm going to use that. So all I did is on white, I stamped it, and then I just inked the edges a little bit with the coordinating color, or the same color rather. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a little, I want these to overlap slightly. So I'm going to put this right about there. I'm going to push that down. And then on this one, I'm going to pop this one up too. And let's see, where did I put that? I want to use the same thickness, I think, of pop dot. Behind that, I just want to trim it off. Oopsie. Okay, so I'm just going to use that up here, and I'm going to use that as my stopper. So I've got a little bit of dimension there, and that's going to help keep that from sliding forward. You see how it grabs it? That anything, a gem, a button, a chipboard piece, actually even just using, sorry, it keeps on washing out, even just using this piece of cardstock that's stamped and popped up is going to help that to stay in place. So here we have a birthday wish for you, and I think I even pulled out a little, I thought I had a little flower out here somewhere, but I might have lost it. I do think that this one's cute up here. I might go ahead and add this little flower here. I have this Prima right here that I think I'll go ahead and add to the top there. And let's see, maybe a little gem, if I can find one. Got a pretty little square gem. Those always catch my eye since they're, you always see round ones. And so I'm just going to use the 3D lacquer. Add a little bit of that because that always holds my gems in nicely. And so I'm going to put this in a diamond shape. And look how cute. See how it being a square really makes it stand out a little bit more? It's just a little non-traditional that makes it stand out. Well, having it at an angle, it doesn't like to be not at an angle, but it's hard for you to see it there. But so there is, now we haven't added our little punch on. Well, maybe we should go ahead and do that too. I'm going to use a little crocodile. This is one of the new power punches. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up so that I can see where I'm punching. Let's go ahead and make a little hole in the front for, let's see, for our pull. So right about in the center there, I'm going to this is a perfect size. This blue handle one is a perfect size for a brad. And I just estimated that. But it punches right through the chipboard, you know, just like any crocodile. So very easily. And let me see if I can find the little brads that we need to put in there. You know, I have I had them out and they got lost. They got lost. What I have here, I can go ahead and use some of one of the graphic 45 pulls here. And that could be a little pull. That's pretty dressy. So you can just use one of those brads. Pull one of those out. And those you'll have to push in together because they're spaced much further apart. So we want to get those into a smaller area. And of course, you know, this is squeeze you in there. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so all I'm trying to do was squeeze these in so that these two prongs touch each other so that I can get them through. These are pretty thick. I haven't used these before. They're fairly new, I believe. They are kind of monsters. Okay, that's pretty cute. See, I like the dimension of that. I'm going to pull that back just a smidge so that there's more to pull. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up on the inside. And there we go. Oopsie. Okay. That looks good to me. Okay, so now we can go ahead and slide that in. And there we go. Now we have the little pull for our drawer, our little sentiment, little button to hold it up in place. There's our pretty little fairy. And then it folds flat. And there you go. So there is how I have tried to simplify the easel card with drawer. And I hope you guys like it. And I'd love to see if you guys try it. I'd love to see what you come up with. And let me know if this was helpful for you, changing up how to add chipboard to it. So thanks a lot for watching. Bye.